In the last episode of Quad Builder, we began our Honda 400EX C-Class Racer build-up. After covering the internals of our CT Racing mid-range power package, we took our frame to Bear Performance, where they installed one of their gusset kits and applied a beautiful 2-stage powder coat. We've got a long way to go on this project, so sit back, Quad Builder starts now. With our 400EX frame back from Bear Performance, Chase Cunningham went right to work installing chassis parts. To widen our machine for motocross, we installed a set of JD Performance plus 3-inch wider standard travel A-arms. Long travel A-arms aren't necessary for beginner to intermediate level racers, and going with standard travel will save you hundreds of dollars on the price of your A-arms and shocks. JD Performance constructs their A-arms of 4130 chromoly. They manufacture both long and standard travel A-arms that are both camber and caster adjustable. Or you can order them with camber adjustment only. We decided to skip on caster adjustment, but would have gotten it had we known how easy their system is to use. The A-arms appear to be very well constructed and are manufactured here in the States, making their reasonable price tag an even better bargain.
Voila!
Well, we got the crank in this. We got the flywheel on it, or one-way bearing. Got the cylinder on it. We got new piston. Rings are set. What we're getting ready to do is install a new clutch, which the old one's already gone. Common with the stock 400EX, you know, after hours of riding, especially aggressive riding, the clutch seems to heat up and fade. So when we done the motor upgrade, we thought we'd upgrade the clutch. Got this new Barnett basket, some Barnett plates. I'm doing this because if it heats up, we don't want this thing to fade, especially on a motocross track.
While Billy was over there catching you guys up on what he was into with the motor, I was over here doing my best job to put the spindles on these nice new JD Performance A-arms we got. And the next step we're going to do, we're going to put the stem in, and then we're going to throw some front brakes on this bad boy.
Chase just finished up putting on the spindles. His old lady's been calling, he's got to get out, make the woman happy. So tonight I really want to have this rolling chassis ready and going. So I've stopped on the engine. We're going to get this thing ready this evening. I've already got the stem in here. We removed the brake line. We got some stainless braided lines to put on. And I've got the nut on the bottom here and the bearing and the seals. We've already taken care of that. So we're moving on to putting this clamp on. To tighten this up here, we also added these Tusk handlebars. We had to get some Tusk risers here, which raise the handlebars approximately 1 inch. And it takes it from a 7/8 bar fit to 1 1/8 inch. The good thing about the Tusk handlebars is they're half the price of the leading manufacturers right now. And seem to be just as good. Another good product here from Tusk is these stainless braided brake lines. When you extend your A-arms, on most brands, going from stock length to extended, you're going to have to get extended brake lines. And you got +2, +2.5, +3 A-arms. In our case, these are +3. We're going to need extended brake lines. The stock ones aren't going to reach the calipers. This will also look good, and in return, it's going to improve our braking. JD Performance supplied us with this swing arm. It's plus 1.25 inches in length. It is a round housing, which was nice because we could use our stock carrier and our bearings were still good. It does come with swing arm bearings. We're fortunate there because ours were worn out. They say that it's no heavier than any other aftermarket swing arm. But we don't know because we have nothing else to compare it to. To me, it feels heavy, but it's heavier than stock. This is chrome ollie. Stock is made of aluminum. Now what we're going to do is try to see if it fits in here the way it's supposed to. You got to use this hammer. Powder coated the frame. If you look closely in this hole, I didn't put anything in there, so we got some powder coat in it. Looks pretty cool. Another thing about this JD Performance swing arm is that thanks to its tubular design, JD Performance claims that it's more rigid than any other aftermarket swing arm. Right now I'm putting in the stock linkage. We've got it cleaned up a little bit and we're going to move on to installing our rear revalve to PEP. Now if you ever get a swing arm there that's extended in length, you have to get this shock revalved and resprung. This is our G-force axle. It's made by Tusk. This is an axle that's on the market now for half the price of your leading competitors. Get this for around $200. It's an extended axle, and we're going to install it here in our swing arm, and we're going to try to get it the same width as what we have in the front. This is our Tusk sprocket hub right here, and we're going to install it because it's real pretty. It's lightweight. Add a little fashion to this machine. Where's your connector back? Like it. I hope you just put the finishing touch to this sucker going on there. It's going to take like 30 minutes. People are getting bored and go to the website. So far, I went ahead and got the wheel hubs on, tie rods are on, finished the subframe up. Try to get this thing done tomorrow.
For day 2 of our 400EX quad builder, if you can see Billy behind me here, he's trying to tidy up the rest of the motor. It's been giving him a little bit of problem from here and there. But basically, we left you last night. They wanted to get a rolling chassis together, and he did a good job of doing that. I come in this morning, and I was pretty surprised about what they did. I think they worked about all night last night. I think he finished up about 5 and went home. But I'm going to go through some of the things that we've put on this rolling chassis here. The first thing you'll notice is these PEP limited mass front shocks that we put on to go with our JD Performance A-arms. And if you're not very familiar with the way these work, The limited mass, PEP offers several different, styles of shocks or grades of shock, just like any other shock manufacturer. But these, you can adjust your ride height and preload. They've got a clip right in here, and you've got these grooves. You move this up and down. These are compression adjustable, and this is your little knob here. You can zoom in on that and turn this knob and then adjust your compression. Pretty nice shocks. Went with this because these are, like, we're going for kind of affordable, and these will perform fine for this unit, and they'll perform fine for a beginner to intermediate rider, even a C-class racer. What we also put on are these Duro tires and these Douglas wheels. And if you'll look at the Douglas wheel, you can see that we've had the inside of it powder coated. This is on both sides of the wheel. Just had the inside powder coated and left this on the outside polished. It gives it a kind of a neat look. It looks different, but it's the powder coat. When you get one powder coated black to get the black look, a lot of times when you change your wheels, you'll scuff the outside of it. So that kind of eliminates that problem. These Duro tires they're kind of new to the market. I've seen a few guys running them at the WPSA races, and they look like they'll perform pretty good. They're more of a hard compound tire, but they're similar with the center rib to like you'd see on a Maxxis, but you've got the angled knobs are a little bit different. But these are more of an affordable tire. I think these fronts retail for around $49, something like that. All right, as we come to the rear of the quad, as you can see, we've got Duro tires on the rear as well. These are what they call an easy trail. They're an 18.95 by 8. They're a pretty hard compound. They should work okay on a motocross track. The good thing is, for a lot of you guys out there that don't like to replace your tires very often, they're a hard compound, so you should get some good wear out of them. Now if you look at the wheels, they match our front wheels. These are the Douglas Ultimate wheels once again. And as you can see, we've powder coated the back ones just like we powder coated the front ones. It gives it a really sleek look. It looks really cool, I think. And actually on the rear, it even kind of gives you that simulated, looks almost like a simulated bead lock, the way it's got the chrome out here. All right, we've already gone over the swing arm and the axle that they put in last night. So I'm going to jump right in here to this PEP rear shock. Now this is basically your stock shock. As you can see, looks just like a stock shock. The only difference is PEP came in here, Mark Baldwin actually, and he revalved this shock, resprung it, set it up for our rider's weight, and he's basically turned this stock shock into an aftermarket shock, which is once again an affordable way to go. It's a lot less money than buying a complete rear shock. This shock is rebound and compression adjustable, and it's also got your preload rings, so it's a pretty good deal. Alright, what Billy's doing right now, as you can see, we've got the rear brake line. We've already put on our rear master cylinder. We got it all bolted up. We've got our caliper all bolted up, ready to put this Tusk off-road stainless steel brake line on. So this should help you stop better. A little more stopping power over the stock ones. Plus they add a trick hook to it, so.
Got some of the wiring harness here, and the rest of it's in the floor, tied up in knots. I'm trying to figure out where everything goes. It's been a few weeks since we took this apart.
If it had an extension.
And what we're doing here, we're changing the rev box out. And this is going to allow, when you're on your top end, full throttle power, instead of the quad spitting and sputtering at, let's say, 8,500 RPMs, you're going to get approximately around 1,000 extra. So it won't cut out till about 9,500. Produce a little bit more power and a little more speed. It's the engine rev a little harder.
What we're doing now is yelling over the compressor, which is very loud. Seriously, I gotta take these apart so we can mount our reservoir bottles on the frame.
Right now, I'm going to finish up putting all our stock parts on this frame. My friend Jeremy here, MMI graduate, works at a local dealership here. We had a problem with the stud in our cylinder, stripped out, so he's going to drill it out and install new helical for us.
Oh, I'm Jeremy Whitaker and work at the local Yamaha shop. About to put a helical in this cylinder. The front bolt here stripped out, and it's a pretty common problem on 400EX, especially when you do a big bore, and we'll see what we can do for it. This thing's bigger than a quarter. Right now we've just drilled the hole out to the next oversize and run this tap down through. This is what the helical is going to thread into. It's got threads on the outside and on the inside, and that's what our head stud is now going to thread into.
Alright, here we are, finishing up this quad. We had to step out for some lunch. Jeremy wasn't able to eat with us, he had to cut out. So he finished topping on this motor while we were gone. Took it upon myself, a little help from Chris here, one of our mechanics. We installed the engine, got our electrical hooked up, air box, new filter, carbs on. We'll talk about these new products from right here. We got a Pro SX bumper. We're going to bolt up to provide more coverage for the A-arms, our new shocks. And this bumper is a good pound and a half wider than our stock bumper. It's wider as you get bound up, racing, caught up somebody. Stock bumper only has about from here to here to grab, so it's hard to maneuver your quad around and get untangled. This here offers a wider two-hand grip, which is very helpful.
Here we got a Performance full body skid plate here, and what we're going to do is we're going to apply it to the bottom of this 400EX, keep the Bear Performance powder coat paint job looking good, and keep our motor from getting all cracked up from rocks and grime and all that other good stuff.
Right now I'm working on installing the PEP Steering Stabilizer, and I got Chris over here mounting up our mountain brackets for our Nerf bars.
We're going to tighten these down, but we're not going to torque them because we got to put on the Nerf bars, and we got to have some flexibility here so we can line them up. And up here in the front, we got to have the spacers for the motor mount and for your Nerf bars to come around and attach to the other side.
I just finished installing our PEP Steering Stabilizer. It's got a mount up here, mounts to your steering stem, simply just clamps on. Then it goes down. You got to make sure you clear this oil tank. You have an adjustable mount right here that slides up and down inside this motor mount, inside this groove. You just snug that up. And what I did was come up here and make sure I'm clearing my oil tank at a good angle that way, and tighten this mount that goes around the stem, and then come down here and I got this adjusted so that everything cleared and I could get the dipstick out, and then tightened it down. And on adjusting the PEP Steering Stabilizer, making it from soft to hard, the closer that you mount your steering stabilizer to the stem, the softer it is to turn. And the next notch is like your medium setting, and all the way out is your hardest setting you have. Alright, now we're going to install the Nerf bars. They've got a nice looking race peg on it, full heel guard. I'm going to start by sliding on these peg replacements that sent with us. For the final installation of these Nerf bars, you have to do some drilling. You have to take a 3/8 bit, drill one hole. They want in the center of the peg. I'm going to put it up here as close as I can. So I've marked the spot. Right now, we don't have a 3/8 bit with us, so we can't be drilling that. But you're gonna have a 3/8 bolt that just goes all the way through it. And you're gonna have a lock washer, and I prefer putting the lock nut behind it, some Loctite, just because you don't want that to come loose. And for you guys that's out there wondering about this big ghetto brake spring right here, if you've noticed any of the shocks being shown, they're set up for a heavy guy. 325s in the front, 330 in the back. You know, I added this for personal touch because I figure a big guy's gonna have a big heavy foot and he's gonna need a little help getting it back up, and it's got quite a bit of tension on it. We just installed our CT Racing exhaust. It's a full exhaust system. We did go with the CT Racing exhaust to round out the CT engine. And I want to let you guys know that in the past, this exhaust has won shootouts on stock engines. So, you know, for you guys that don't have engines built, this would still be a good exhaust to run with it. You know, most of you guys that are going to be doing this, you're going to have a bike that runs, and you're just going to add what you need to make it a race-ready machine. And what we've done here is pretty much a complete restoration. So there's some parts missing that we didn't have that we have to order, and you know, it's going to take us a few more days to get this finished up.
Next time on Quad Builder, we add the finishing touches to our 400EX project, and finally take the machine out to the track for some testing. All that and more on the next episode of Quad Builder.